Every culture has its own way of questioning reality. The Western world speaks of a great illusion, like a mind trick played to all of us, and usually does not offer solutions or positive perspectives to this hypothesis. The Eastern world has always made a distinction between the spirit and the material world, speaking of interconnectedness in terms of energy, as everything being one, and the illusion of separation. You might condense it to the same idea of being tricked into believing what you see, or you might choose to transcend it as a wave of energy and not care if the sky is really blue or not, as long as the perception of color makes you happy. Have I confused you? Well, that's nothing compared to the novel I'm bringing to you today. John Fowles has written one of the most confusing stories I have ever read, and still manages to keep the reader hooked until the end. Welcome to another dimension, The Magus. On a small Greek island, in the middle of the Aegean Sea, an English teacher meets a mysterious and wealthy Greek intellectual, fascinating at first, but rapidly embarking him in a psychological game with no winners or losers. Confused and thirsty. Even the memory of the book is enveloped in a crushing heat, a blinding sunlight, and a feeling of utter bewilderment. Halfway through the novel, I feel like the only way I can enjoy it is by letting go. Number 1. Exceptional sense of suspense. There is no need to sing the praise of an already world-famous writer. And still, I wish to leave here a trace of my admiration, for this is not usually the kind of novel I turn to. John Fowles has a sense of the crescendo that I find mesmerizing, not to mention the structure of the plot, to sustain this slow and steady mystery. Number 2. The fascination of culture. I was born in 1927, the only child of middle-class parents. I was sent to a public school. I wasted 2 years doing my national service. I went to Oxford, and there I began to discover I was not the person I wanted to be. I had long before made the discovery that I lacked the parents and ancestors I needed. So when a young man with high aspirations meets an intelligent, charming, mysterious man that offers stimulating conversation in an idyllic scenery, the fascination overpowers reason. Number 3. The art of lying. Don't get me wrong, lying is bad. But some people know how to lie with such precision and research it seems not only true but convincingly undeniable. Such is the case in the novel, and I find it interesting to observe, as usual not being directly involved in the story, so as to learn to identify great deceivers in everyday life. Mastering the art of lying while staying honest. Now that is a challenge. I would say it is a young novel living in a delusion of a yin intention. The God game started, no matter the final goal, is intrusive and mentally violent at times, with a strong disruptive energy. A yang illusion. Difficult to choose, as the book only has 3 main characters, and honestly, none of them impress me that much. One is foolish and clueless, the other is weak and easily manipulated, and the third one, while impressive in his intelligence, has a shadow of evil in every phrase or action. So for once, allow me the Joker card, and I shall choose John Fowles as my favorite identity in this whole scenario. His vision of the plot, the details and the gradual suspense in conducting us to the end are actually quite remarkable. And to think it was a first novel. Choose your mentors carefully. We live in a society that values knowledge above kindness and competition above empathy. I do not think one or the other are the solution by themselves. Can we really ignore a toxic personality only because we value its knowledge or talent? A question to ask ourselves before we put any one person on a pedestal. The human race is unimportant. It is the self that must not be betrayed. I suppose one could say that Hitler didn't betray his self. You are right, he did not. But millions of Germans did betray themselves. That was the tragedy. Not that one man had the courage to be evil, but that millions had not the courage to be good. As an adventure thriller or as a cautionary story, you should read The Magus for its power to completely occupy your mind. And for the Greek background, of course. But I wouldn't take it to the beach. Instead, read it at home, when you miss summer and you want to bring the beach to you. The official label for the Magus is metafiction. Maybe it speaks to you, or maybe you don't really care about these categories. But if you look closely, and if you already love fiction, the Greek prefix meta will transcend, as is its habit, the fiction, to carry you beyond imagination. And it all works wonders with some Greek rituals on the side. Be sure to check out the next episode in order to get inspired. Until then, enjoy your reading.